Floors are very important and they're often overlooked. We're so used to seeing certain types of flooring material that we just take it for granted and say, well, that's the flooring. But actually, spending a little bit more money and time selecting a good floor really pays off. So what I've done over here is that the floor in this living room over here is oak, which we're familiar with, except for two things. First of all, it's white oak, not red oak, so it doesn't have that pinkiness to it. And the other thing is that it's these random width planks, which is very attractive. A little bit more expensive, but really worth the money. I bought this from a company called Carlisle, and what they also did, which is terrific, I don't know if you can see it in the light over here, but they actually wire brush the flooring, which gives it this sort of old worn look. Of course, you couldn't sand it, otherwise it would be quite smooth. That's because it's a country house. Of course, if it was a city apartment, it would be dealt with somewhat differently. I did not want the grills or the grates on the floors on the floor to look like this typical metal kind. So I had this one made by Reggio Grills. They do a terrific job, and it's the same white oak material, and it's done, of course, as this grate, as you can see, which is terrific. And moving to the dining room, I have a floor that is very similar in the color. But the texture, of course, is very different. It's made of stone. It's a type of travertine called the Noce travertine. And what's interesting is that it's laid in rows. Each row, of course, is as wide as a tile, which is 16 inches. But the tiles differ in size. Some are 8 inches wide, some are 16 by 16, and some are 24 by 16. Oftentimes this is either installed only as the 8 by 16s, perhaps in a brick pattern or a herringbone, etc. The pattern that I chose is actually what I saw on the sidewalks of Paris, and that is that the lines are consistent at 16 inches, or the seams or the grooves or whatever you want to call it, separating the rows, are separating them at 16 inches apart, and then the tile is laid in a sort of a random width. So in the one direction, the one axis, it's perfectly parallel and consistent at 16 inches, and of course the other axis is not. It's interesting, it's spontaneous, it's fresh, and of course the nature of the material, that some tile is much darker than the other, works very well. It's not formal, and it kind of enhances it.